Hello everyone, welcome on this video. So on this video, I will be do the presentate about one of the material that I have learned before in a morphology subject, that is a morpheme. Alright, so before I continue my explanation about morpheme, let me to introduce myself first. My name is Nikada Tresnaningsih with the student number 2311171049. And for the explanation, you can see in the screen that the table of the content that I will explain, that is a definition, function, type of the morphemes. So for the first is definition of morpheme. Morphemes are the smallest grammatical units in a language that carry meaning or serve a grammatical function. They are fundamental to the study of morphology, which examines how words are formed and structured. A morpheme can be defined as a minimal unit or meaning or a grammatical function. It cannot be divided into a smaller meaningful part without losing its significance. For example, the word cats. The word cats is the consist for two morphemes. Cat is the base word, and then the s that indicating the plurality, so that cats can be two morphemes. And also, guys, syllables and the morpheme are not synonyms. A syllable related to the pronunciation of words and falls into the fields of phonetic and phonology, the study of speech sound in a language. And a morpheme deals with the meaning and structure of words in their smallest unit. Morpheme can be more than one syllable. Next is the function of the morpheme. Morpheme has 5 functions. The first is word formation. Word formation is the morphemes are the building blocks that form words. For example, in a free morphemes, such as a book or house. Book or house can stand alone as words with the meaning, while the bound morphemes, like kanya or ber, that require another morpheme to form a complete word. Next, number second one is indicating grammatical meaning. Indicating grammatical meaning is a morpheme are often used to indicate change in the meaning or grammatical function, such as tenses, changing a word type, and categorization. For example, in a tenses, that morpheme can indicate the time. For example, of word that run with as to be runs, that can consist the time about the presence, the habitual things that can be runs, and then running that tell the continuous action. Next is changing word type. Changing word type, that morphemes also change word types, such as turning a noun into a verb. For example, in a noun writer, change into a verb to write. And the last is categorization. Categorization is a morpheme also serves the categorized word, such as prefix, for example, a prefix and, which indicate the negation, like anti-d, and also for the prefix, the indication for the negative, there is this and that. Number third, and the third is modifying word meaning. Modifying word meaning is a morpheme can modify or enrich the meaning of a word by adding prefix, suffix, or infix. For example, in the root word right is to leads can be expanded into to write, menulis, or can be written, which means tertulis, by adding the specific morphemes. And the third is supporting derivation and inflection. In derivation, the process of creating new words by adding specific morphemes, such as turning a verb into a noun. For example, in the verb work, change become a worker. And in the inflection, the process of the changing a word forms to indicate grammatical aspect like tense, number, or possession. For example, that turning book into a books that tell the plurality. And the last function is syntactic function. Syntactic function is sum of morphemes served to indicate syntactic relationship between words in a sentence. For example, morphemes in the preposition di, ke, dari, or particles help establish relationships between words in a sentence. So guys, that's all the function of the morpheme. Overall, morphemes serve as the foundation for word affirmation, meaning modification, and the regulation of a grammatical aspect in a language. And next is types of morpheme. So guys, morphemes are classified into two primary types. That is first, free morphemes, and second is bound morpheme. Now, I will explain the two of the classified types of morpheme. The first is free morpheme. Free morphemes is a morpheme that can stand alone as a word without having to be tied to other morphemes. And free morpheme can be category for two. That is a lexical morphemes and functional morphemes. Lexical morpheme, that is a morpheme that can stand alone and can receive affixes at their suffix and prefix. This lexical morpheme consists of noun, adjective, verb, and a verb. For example, for the noun, that is dog, house, book. For the verb, that example is word is run, speak, talking, and write. And for the adjective, for the example of word bright, happy, big, and the last for the example of the adverb, that is quickly, easily, and loudly. That's for the lexical morphemes. And the next is the functional morpheme. Functional morpheme is a morpheme that can stand alone but cannot receive affixes, either that suffix or prefix. These morphemes include article, preposition, conjunction, pronoun, and determiner. For the example of the article is an, a, and, the. For example, for the preposition is an, in, on, at. For the example for the conjunction that's and, but, or, while, and etc. The example for the pronouns, that is he, she, it, they, we, etc. And then the last is determiner. For example, that, these, those, and so on. So that is the functional morpheme. And next is bound morphemes. Bound morphemes are morphemes that cannot stand alone and only occur as a part of words. Bound morphemes must be connected to another morpheme to create a word. Bound morphemes generally function to provide additional meaning or change the form of a word, such as adding or changing a word category. You can read on the screen and the PPT the example of the bound morphemes. There are a prefix and a suffix. In a prefix is a bound morpheme that attached to the beginning of the word to change the meaning. For example, in the prefix "an" with the base word happy to be unhappy, and the prefix "re" with the base word right to be rewrite. This prefix "this" with the base word agree to be disagree, and then the prefix "sub" with the base word contract to be subcontracts. So that for the example of the word morpheme in the prefix. And then next is the explanation of the example of the bound morphemes from the suffix. You can read that the example of suffix ed with the base word walk to be walked, and the suffix ing with the base word run to be running, the suffix s with the base word cat to be cats, the suffix er with the base word teach to be teacher, and last, the suffix less with the base word care to be careless. Alright, that's about the bound morphemes. And the bound morphemes is further grouped into two, that is derivational morpheme and then inflectional morpheme. So for derivational morpheme is a morpheme that changes the class of the word or the meaning of a word. This morpheme can take the form of an affix, either a prefix or a suffix. Derivational morphemes are morphemes that are used to form new words by changing the meaning of a word or changing the category of a word. For example, changing from a noun into a verb, or from an adjective into a noun, or from a noun into a noun. Derivational morphemes produce change in the meaning or grammatical category of the base word to which they apply. For example, in the ness, the suffix ness, which the base word said is the adjective, and changed into sadness, which is sadness is a noun. And then suffix er with the verb teach to be teacher, that change into a noun. And then in with the adjective direct to be indirect, that change from adjective into adjective. And then re with the base word play, plays a verb, change into a replay noun. So replay, that change from the verb into a noun. Next is able, from the verb accept to be acceptable, that is adjective. That is the example from the verb change into adjective. And then et with the noun active change into activity, that is a noun. And then this is their two that suffix and then a prefix with the prefix an and a suffix li. From the base word friend is the noun, change into unfriendly to be adjective. All right, that's about the derivational morpheme. And the next is inflectional morpheme. Inflectional morpheme is the morpheme that does not cause change in a word class and word meaning. This morpheme only affect the number, that's plurality, and form of time, that is tenses. The example of the inflectional morpheme, the first is as. As is show the that change the singular to be the plural. For example, in a word two orange and a books, that change from the base word to be the base word that is singular to be a plural. Next is the apostrophe s. The apostrophe s is explain about the something about the ownerships. For example, you can read that Rian's book that can explain that the books has the owner that is Rian. And the next is er. Er is used can change and also explain that is the tense with comparative. For example, from the base word tall to be taller, base word big to be bigger, smart to be smarter. And next is e as the is. Is a is used to tell the change for the superlative to for the example richest, happiest, and biggest also can be used is. And next is s. In this suffix s, this is considered to give the explain for the tenses which is present tense. That's about the habitual or general things. For example, in the sentence that Dina plays piano. Next is ed. Ed is give the explain about the change from the base word into a past tense. By adding ed in the beginning of the word, by adding ed in the end of the word, that can change the base word into the past forms. For example, walk to be walked, and then watch to be watched. And then the last is en. En is used to the to give the explain for the word or verb that can explain about the something in the past participle. For example, in a word taken and eaten. Alright guys, that's about the material of morpheme. So, from that material, I can give the conclusion that the morphemes are the smallest grammatical units in a language that carry meaning or serve a grammatical function. Morpheme has a five main function, and also morpheme two, has two primary types, that is pre-morphemes and bone morphemes. And they are fundamental to the study of morphology, which examines how words are formed and structured. Alright guys, that's all the explanation that I can given to you. I'm sorry if there are any mistaken word or if there the material that I'm not clear give the explanation. Thank you for attention and watching this video. Bye.